the first statute of copyright was in Great Britain in 1710. It was a result, though, of almost a couple of decades of lobbying by the London publishing industry, faced with what it denounced as piratical reprinting. So the piracy came first.
It was a case, as I understand it, where people were complaining about what we would call today being ripped off. And so when they were getting ripped off, they got mad. That became known as piracy, and then you began to get laws to stop the ripping off. That's about what it came down to.
Yes, though ripped off compared to what? I think one has to ask. By what criteria were they being ripped off? Because as I say, any claim of ownership in this kind of domain isn't simply given to us by nature. And in fact, what the London industry was saying was that they had long had a kind of internal system to themselves where one could register titles, and that had suddenly become the subject of large-scale violations.
Is it right that all of this stuff essentially began about the time of the invention of the printing press by Gutenberg?
I think so, yes. Certainly that's a big transition point, because suddenly you have all kinds of new conventions of authorship, for example. You can write a work that is reproduced in 1,000 copies, say, pretty much overnight.
Yeah.
And that leads to a new kind of commerce
right.
in written products. So piracy, and for that matter authorial property of one kind or another, really are manifestations of the commerce brought about by print. The only thing to qualify that, though, is to say that patents are actually much older than that. So the paraphernalia for creating and sustaining some kind of property claim in machines is not directly a product of print.
So you're saying that in effect there was something which served the function of patents even before Gutenberg invented the printing press?
Yes, yeah. In northern Italy especially, some of the Italian city-states had what are essentially patent regimes.
Interesting.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.